Howdy.
Hiya. Hi, Art. Can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Art. I can hear you though, Mike.
I can hear you perfectly fine too, but I can't
Yeah,
hear Art.
you're a little low, but I can hear you.
I've got this USB microphone and it's turned up as far as I can get it.
I
There may
understand.
be other settings, but I can't find them.
Well, I can hear you. You're a little low, but I can hear you. I can't hear Art. Art's out there all by himself though.
A voice in the wilderness. Nope, he's
He
gone.
disappeared.
Soon to be back.
He figured out we can't hear him.
Oh, Leroy.
How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good.
And he disappeared.
Oh, I had to close the door so I wasn't interfering with the rest of the household.
Well, we haven't seen you in a while, so what's going on?
Oh, yard work. The only thing technical I got going on is last year I programmed an Arduino to monitor the temperature and turn on a heat source in
Okay.
a little hydroponic garden I've got going in the garage. So I try to get some tomatoes going and some greens going. Next thing I want to add on to that would be a timer, an intermittent timer for a fan. Because in the little greenhouse, the air gets a little stagnant.
Right.
So right now I've got like one of those old school timers where you like time your lights when you're on vacation. But I thought it'd be nice if I could get that in there so it would look at the temperature and then keep track, because I don't need it to turn on at a specific time.
Right.
Just as long as it kicks on and then an hour, half hour later, it turns off, and just for cycling.
I was thinking, I saw a timer module the other day, but I think it did the opposite. I think it turned something off for a specific amount of time and turned it back on.
Yeah.
I think whatever it was doing, it was supposed to be continuously running. It would shut it off for 10 minutes or something and then turn it back on.
Oh, okay. Kind of like a cooling cycle.
Yeah. So I think it was doing the opposite of what you're talking about, but maybe it could be jiggered to do what you want. I think it was only like $6. It was cheap. I mean, it was like one of those deals where even if it doesn't work, it was worth $6 to play with.
Yeah, for playing with. Now, I have a robotic lawnmower that I bought last year, and it uses the invisible fence wire with putting a little RF frequency through there to keep it in the yard and out of the flowers. So this year I go to plug it in and it says there's a break in the wire.
Well, of course there is.
Yeah, figures. So checking around, it's like, okay, I need to find a wire tracker. So off to Harbor Freight, where they had one for $20, and it actually worked. So I just followed around and it gave me a tone until I hit the brake, and then the tone got quieter. So I could dig it up, and then sure enough, there was a break in the wire.
So you've got yours buried. I had mine up on the surface when I had one, so it was easy enough to find the brakes. I could just walk around and Go, oh, yep, there it is.
A year ago, it was just on top, and I kind of parted the grass like a hairdo
Right.
and put the wire in, and so it's semi-buried. But
That was what I wanted to do with mine, but I never really ever got around to it. I just left it up on top. So,
but it is a nice luxury to just have it turn on and mow the lawn.
yep. I love that thing. That was one of the greatest things ever. Okay. Art's
Seems to
back.
me
Let's
that
see if
you-
Art can hear us.
Okay.
Let's see if we can hear Art. Because it doesn't really sound like we can hear Art.
Hold up a finger if you can hear us, Art. Nope.
Oh, we still can't hear you. No,
I didn't say anything. Yeah.
not you.
Oh, yeah, of course I can.
Art's having all kinds of problems again. Art's off in his own little world over there.
Art.
He's trying to talk to us, but he's trying. I think he can hear us. We just can't hear him.
Mike, you built an electric bike about, what, a year and a half ago?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got two of them now.
Okay, what kind of controller do you have for the motor? Is it built into the hub or do you have it external?
Oh, it actually came as a complete kit. When I bought the, it came with the motor, hub motor, an external control, throttle, brake levers with kill switches. It was all complete.
Mike Lowe asked me to help a friend of his install a kit like that on his friend's recumbent tandem trike. This thing is like the length of a semi. And we got it running, and then she had a blowout on the rear tire. And when she reinstalled everything, it stopped working. But I was amazed that the 48 volts on the battery and really high amperage, I think they were 50 amperes, capable of 50 amperes. They were using that through DIN plugs and like 18 or 20 gauge wiring to supply power to the computer. And some of the pins got bent over when she was plugging it back together, and it virtually vaporized the DIN plugs and the wiring and stuff. I spent 5 or 6 days down there trying to help her get it installed, and I did what I could, but the controller was built into the hub of the motor.
Ooh.
Their schematics they're like second grader map of how to get to the mailbox. There's nothing to them that you can make out. And I finally just said, I can't help you anymore. But on your system, is it similarly set up so that the uncontrolled power and voltage is fed to the displays? Or is it stepped down somehow or other?
Mine goes right to the controller, but my controller is external.
Well, she had an internal controller on the motor hub, and then in the package that she acquired, there was an external controller. And so the system was, pardon my language, but it was bastardized. It was neither fish nor fowl. So part of the function was controlled by this external controller, and part of it was in the hub. And as far as I could tell, once we got everything set and she took it for a test drive, we were fine. But I'm guessing that the internal controller on the hub was blown up. There's no way I know how to get in there and analyze that.
Yeah, that sounds a little tricky. I tried to steer away from the ones with the internal controllers. Just in case I wanted to, because they make external controllers that you can program. Because as a kit, they're geared to only run like 24 miles an hour to be legal. But you can buy an external controller that will send higher pulses and enable them to go faster. And I thought, well, if I want to go that route, I want to be able to go with an external control. But I haven't had any problem. Like I said, I'm on my second. I have two bikes that are identical now. My significant other took a liking to my first one, so I had to go get myself another one.
My recollection is the wheel and hub and motor were trade named Magic Pie.
Huh.
They're sold by an outfit in California, Golden State Bikes or Motors or something along those lines. Again, I did what I could to help Mike's friend, but once the wheel was blown up and she reconnected everything, and it was at that point that the little bitty teeny tiny DIN plugs got plugged back together, and some of the pins were folded over, and it just vaporized everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be tough to tear into one of those.
Well, yeah, it was beyond my capability because there was no support, no schematics, that you couldn't see anything. Yep, that's it. Except the one that she has was not spoked. It was solid aluminum, like an automobile hub.
What size wheel is she running?
20-inch.
Oh, that's a pretty good size.
Yeah, this for this recumbent tandem, like I said, it was like driving a semi. It looked like.
Yeah, that's a lot of length.
Yes, there was, and that's not any of them.
Huh.
Golden Motor is, yeah, that's the outfit that she bought this through. And
I don't know. I don't see it. But
okay.
they've got several, so
I can't tell you how much restraint it's taking to keep from reaching over and grabbing the mouse. It's
click.
yeah, scroll around on your computer with my mouse.
I don't see any that are a solid hub like that, like what you're talking about.
I think that was called a Magic Pi 3.
Well, I'm not saying they ain't got them, but I don't see them. Oh, maybe this is it, but that's only a 12-inch. That's just the hub motor, I think.
Yeah.
Without the wheel. I don't really see it.
Well, it doesn't really matter very much. I was mainly asking Mike whether they had the full current and voltage going to the controller through those itty bitty fine gauge wires.
I post inside the chat window. I posted a link that Vicente sent me to a lady who is working with hub motors, and she explains pretty well. Of course, she's explaining her hub motors, but they all work pretty much the same way. And she's designed her own controller board for use with the Arduinos and the Raspberry Pis to make it easy to use hub motors, which, trust me, it's not easy to use them right now. So I posted a link to her video. It's like 20 minutes long, and she's a little dry, but she explains. She's an engineer, so she is a little more on the technical side of things than, just doing stuff.
Well,
But she explains it all really well.
this lady that is a friend of Mike's, her husband is undergoing chemo, and I had not been around people and talked to anybody who had been undergoing chemo. But when they talk about a brain fog, man, he was it.
Yeah.
So she needed all the help she could get, and unfortunately, I couldn't finish the project with her. I just didn't have the knowledge.
Yeah. Well, maybe she can get a hold of their Golden Motor customer service and get satisfaction or something.
I'm not optimistic.
You never know.
Yeah, that blowout in the tire might have shattered something.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking that, well, let me back up for a second. The frame on the trike was manufactured in Australia, and it was sufficient to hold a human-powered wheel and cassette. But this powered motor was much more powerful, and so we had to install torque arms in order to spread the force across the frame. And the cassettes were all wrong. The derailleur was all wrong. So everything caused the screw up that caused the screw up that caused the screw up. So what happened when the tire blew out is she had to go through the whole process of taking all that crap off just to get the wheel out to change the tire. And I don't think that the blowout itself caused the damage. I think it was the reassembly of doing that. And again, the DIN plugs were so easy to get a slight misalignment on. They were not well keyed. And
yeah, that's what I found. Real slight little key in there. They even had arrows etched on them going, make sure you put them in right.
Well, I don't think you could get down there with a micrometer and get them any more accurate than what the keyway was leading to. But the force required to mate the male and female was also about the same level of force required to bend the snot out of all the pins. So you couldn't. My wife's sister has a saying, if it doesn't fit, force it. This lady didn't do that. I don't think that she did anything extraordinary in terms of plugging it back together. I just think it was a really piss poor design.
Yeah, I know what you're saying though. Yeah, the those pins that go directly into the hub motor itself. Yeah, those are pretty light gauge.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying.
But it sounds like she spent a good bit of money on that one too. I think mine were probably around $150 range. Of course, I had to wait a month for them to come from China.
Well, she bought a kit, and it did come with the hand brakes, but she has hydraulic brakes, and they shipped her mechanical cable. So they wouldn't take those back, and she had to end up going out and buying adapters to mount on the grip handles that fed through a cable that went to a switch that went to something else. They Rube Goldberg type crap in order to make this work. But you'd think that it would be a turnkey system, but the speed controller, you had to cut the cabling open, split one of the cables in half, run one end up into the motor controller, and I forget where the hell the other one went. And so the computer display, the psychoanalyst is what it was called. You had to disassemble that and feed the wiring back in through everything else, look on the board, count across the pinholes, and solder the connections on. So as I said, it wasn't a turnkey outfit.
Yeah. Well, you could talk her into buying a replacement one that's front wheel, which would be easier to install. And
what kind of wheel?
oh, front wheel.
It's a trike. There are two wheels on the front.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, and there's hydraulic disc brakes up there. So I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably not a great candidate for converting to electric.
No.
Yeah, my trike is two wheels in the back and one in the front. So I just swapped out the front. So sometimes when I take it off-road, I got the front wheel motor driving, plus I can pedal the backs. So I kind of got three-wheel drive.
You've got like a power assist kind of deal going on.
Yeah, it gives me a little boost. I don't spin out as much in the grass.
I posted the link to that timer in the chat room too.
All right, thank you.
So
Yeah, I remember the troubles you were having before when you bought those hoverboard DC motors, trying to get those things to run.
we got them to run, and Vicente got them to was able to read the encoders on them. That's part of the problem that I've got with the robot that we were working on was I'm not reading the encoder, so I'm not getting the torque and everything that it needs, but it's working. I mean, the robot is doing what it's supposed to. It's just not as strong as it could be. So
Okay, so instead of a trash can robot, it could be instead of the trash can, it could be the newspaper retrieval robot, right?
I stuck. I mean, I had the grandkid riding it around, and she was 35 pounds. So,
Oh,
it was good enough. But the problem, those hoverboards, when they're engaged, you're not supposed to be able to turn the wheel, or it's supposed to be really hard to turn that wheel. So, the robots that I've got, because there's no feedback or something, I think that's what we ended up deciding. I can literally take the wheel and have it spinning and just stop it and grab it and stop it,
huh.
which is pretty much not what you want.
No.
Same thing I saw with them. If they didn't have the Hall effect devices, He had no torque at all out of them.
Yeah. So
I
that's-
did see a pair of those wheel motor wheels or whatever they call them on the Robot War games, and I was kind of surprised to see one.
Yeah.
They did respectable, but
well,
those are 250-pound robots.
and the link to the video that I posted that Vicente gave me, that was the lady designed a controller that looks like it would solve a lot of those problems. And Vicente just showed up, and can we hear Art? Probably not. No. No. So
I can share. I have the data sheet of the wheels with the near zero controller. I
yeah,
can share the
that's
screen.
what this new controller is called, is a near zero.
Mhm.
But she explains how these hub wheels work and all kinds of stuff. I mean,
You see they put an optical encoder inside the wheel. The wheels already have the Hall
Okay.
effect sensors. It has 3 sensors: Hall A, Hall B, and Hall C. But those are very low resolution. There is to identify which set of permanent magnets are positioned. But they integrate 1024 pulses optical encoder, so you can discriminate exactly the position of the wheel, and you can they say near zero controller. I think it means that you can have the wheel almost stop, but it's all the time controlled, and the position is fixed. You cannot move the wheel with your hand. So I just bought a couple of wheels of this, but the controller is sold out, and there will be a new version 2, but I don't know when this woman plan to release the second version. But I already will start to play with the wheels, with the included encoder, the optical encoder. I don't know if you remember that I tried to attach an encoder to the wheel outside,
mhm.
and also try to use the whole sensors, but they are low resolution. So I will try to experiment with this new wheel.
Yeah.
Vincente, I have a question for you. Your schematic showed a lot more wires than that photograph of the wheel showed. Are they this?
No. There are 3 wires for driving the coils. There are 4 wires to drive the Hall effect sensors, a common and 3 returns. And there are 2 wires for the optical encoders. They use the same. Oh, the Hall effect use plus voltage and ground, and the 3 sensors, so it would be 5. 5 plus 3 plus 2 will be 10 wires. Let me check.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's more wires than what are on the
There is another one. There is 1 wire for the temperature sensor.
one wire for the temperature sensor.
There are 11 wires. Let me show them. Share screen here. This is the. Can you see?
Yep, we see it.
So this is the controller. This is the wires. There are 3 wires for power, power the motor itself, the coils.
I was referring to the actual photograph.
Okay, let me check the actual photograph. Here, right?
Yeah.
Well, you need to
Okay.
go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, but there is 2.
There's
Yeah,
2 wires right there.
red and yellow here. So there are 11.
I just couldn't see it. Thank you for zooming into that.
Great.
Yeah,
Important.
there's 11 wires.
Yeah. So, Leroy, are you planning to go back to robot serious stuff?
Yeah, well, that video that you shared
Uh-huh.
kind of got me thinking about that thing again.
Yeah, I thought that we were dealing with stuff that we don't need to.
Yeah.
We want to experiment with the the Ruko marks or whatever, or move forward, backward, but not trying to solve a problem that I think is solved. But we want to invent the wheel, as you said.
A year later, it
Yeah.
sounds like it's solved,
Well, it's okay.
but
It's
that's okay. Yeah,
We are on a schedule. We are on a schedule.
yeah. So
You could do this like the Army, declare victory and go home.
Yes, exactly.
well,
No.
I got a couple of new toys in. Vicente knows about one of them.
Which are the what?
The
Okay, yeah,
the M5 Atom motion controller.
yes.
It's got on both sides. You've got
IO.
you got a motor driver, a motor, DC motor, and you've got servos,
Okay,
and then you've got IO. This IO is for serial data, and this IO is just GPIO, and then this IO back here is I2C, and then you've got the on-off switch, and it's all powered by a little teeny tiny cute battery.
yeah.
And I've got it sitting back there, but we may not have time to play with it. And
Looks weird. It's a floating can of paint spray
it's
paint
a,
can.
it's a
floating.
spray can, yep, floating in
Flying,
midair.
yeah.
Hold that up again.
That one,
Yeah.
that is an ultra wide band.
Yeah.
These are surprisingly expensive. These will tell you you need 4 of them, at least 4 of them. One goes on the robot,
Uh-huh.
and 3 of them will go in like corners of your room or corners
For location.
of whatever,
Uh-huh.
and they will down to 10 centimeter.
Okay. Good.
So far, I've gotten it to work with 1, and I can read the
Distance.
distance from the 1. I need to get a couple more controllers programmed for it, but you need at least 3, and then you do it does like triangulation, and it'll tell you more or less where it's at within the room. These things were like $30 freaking dollars for just one of them, and that's without a controller.
Wow.
So it's a surprisingly expensive deal. And then they were sold out of them, and I had to wait. Oh my gosh. I probably waited a month and a half before they even shipped the stupid things from China. And it took another half a month to get here. But
This is the
surprising.
size. It's tiny. And what about the power? It's hungry.
It's 5 volts, and the
Okay.
base stations of them, when I had the base station programmed, it got warm. It got really, really warm, and I don't really know why.
Power.
But
RF power. I don't know.
yeah, but it seemed to work. I had a tape measure out. It was saying 15 centimeters, and my tape measure was saying 17 centimeters. So I don't know if I trust my tape measure or if I trust what it was saying. Either way, it was close enough. You know, what's an extra little tick mark on your tape measure?
Well, it depends on where they were measuring from too.
That's true. That's true. I was sort of figuring that they were measuring from the target, but it may not be. And it kind of jumped around a little bit.
My old single lens reflex camera actually had a mark engraved on the body where the focal plane was. So
Right.
You had the great big box, but there was a line that you knew exactly how far away things were.
Yeah. Well, this is one of these other devices that isn't as documented as well as it should be. So it's one of these where I'm kind of guessing about what it is.
Well, what about the distance of the triangulation? Maximum distance?
I would have to look. It was decent.
I mean, the size of the room, or
Yeah. Let's look. Got time. I can look. I was more.
It's not up to doing the four corners of Kansas.
it can be any 3 points.
Come on. I was more interested in how close you could get to something than I was about how far away you could get from it. Everybody's showing up and we've only got 2 minutes left. Barry's coming now.
2 minutes.
Joey,
Yo.
you're looking good today, Bear.
Barry
Thank
looks
you,
good
sir.
every day.
You just don't change your looks very much. You're just gonna be that way forever.
I look better this way.
Hmm. I didn't say that. That was Leroy said that.
I don't know. I'm just here.
Well, you're kind of a mystery man too, Jim.
Icon flashed on and off there for just a second.
Do what?
Art's microphone icon flashed on and off there for just a second.
Well, now I don't even see it on the website now. What the heck? They're still selling them.
And Cynthia, you had a little yellow disc on your screen with three.
Yeah,
buttons on it. What is that?
It's reactions. You can put whatever you want there.
Ah.
It's in the bottom of the screen. There is you can choose whatever. Say hi.
Okay.
Their website says position accuracy 10 centimeters. It doesn't say